I'm flying all over the place. If you point to a plane, I'll pass. And I'm sure most of you would be honored here today. Living life to the fullest. Don't take things so seriously. Stop worrying and delaying yourself, but get to the point where you realize I'm important to me and I'm important to the universe. And so therefore, when you live life to the fullest, learn to have friends. We were laughing on the way over here. All of my friends in my age range have transitioned. Angela and I were friends for almost 40 years. I'm in the family, but she's gone. All of my friends that I could call at 2 o'clock in the morning and say, hey girl, let's have some girl talk. See, I feel to a girl talk, I don't know about y'all, but we're still talking about men and listen, you know, we lay it out. Anybody want to talk about men? Y'all are some squares, y'all don't know what's going on. They all gone, but you know what? My new friends are in the millenniums. They're 18 to 35. And I'm chilling right with them. That's what life is about. I don't have to worry about anything. If I get up in the morning and set my intention, thanks God for a good day. Take time to be still and bless the day and bless yourself. Before you get your coffee and get out of bed, before I get out of bed, I'm meditating. I'm just so glad. You know what it's like if I wake up and see the sunlight. Amen for the old folk, amen for the young folk. Because I'm 85 years young. But age is an attitude, it's not a number. I see people in their 50s who don't look nowhere near the 50s. I look at you, I know I look. They'll tell me I be looking at myself and I know I think myself to look good. Whatever comes, I'm ready. Amen? Amen. All right. But anyway, and watch your words. You have to be careful because your words have power. And whatever you speak, you bring into existence. You may not know that, but your words are very powerful. So you have to watch your words. And then have a support group. Have someone, people around you that love you enough that when you cry, they won't say, well, what's wrong with you, Barbara? I'm a minister and I cried. I cried this morning at my church. I don't know. I just felt so thankful for the people who were there for their support. So I cried. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable sometimes. Let people know that you have some humanness about you. It's not all that, and personalities play into it too. Wherever I go, when I get on the elevator, I speak to people. I speak to the maids. I speak to whoever is there. If I'm in a hotel room, I thank them. We don't know how to be thankful. We just take everybody for granted. Doesn't do that. But you speak to me, you bring me you later on. Mom always said, don't forget the bridge that brought you across. So be open. The people, I told them that this is the best food I had for this kind of event in a long time. Did you enjoy it? Yeah. I mean, it was really low country. And I'm in Texas, so I don't think about low country. But I thanked them. I asked for the card. I mean, learn to fellowship. This is why I got all these on. Learn to pray with people, fellowship with people. You never know when a person needs a good word. So, I don't know what else I'm supposed to say except I am who I am and I've been blessed by God. And I say now y'all honor me because I'm getting old now and I don't know what this means. Every time I look at my I say, what's going on here? What's going on here? I said, wait, I'm not going up there, I'm going to 102. But I thank you so much again. I've attended 2 of these lectures before. Everybody need to watch. I'm not going to shut up. But I've attended 2 of these programs before, and I have thoroughly been thankful to be present with you, and I still give you that thanks again. And just know that I love you very much. I don't have to know you by name. I know you by your spirit and your humanity. And I love all of you, and I'm very thankful for you. And may we all live to enjoy the abundant life. I'm a follower of Jesus' teachings. If you know his teachings, anybody can follow him. And he said, I came that you might have life and have it more abundantly. So start living that life. Start smiling. Start being happy. Watch your nutrition, exercise, whatever it takes to be happy. Be happy. And know that it works. And so it is.
to get closer. Thank you.
Blessings to all of you.
So let me just say, in the spirit of Hillside, I love you, appreciate you, and I thank God for you.
I love you. I bless you. I
Appreciate you, and I thank God for you. Okay, that's one of the, yeah.
You've been there before.
25 years ago, we were in the neighborhood, and when you grow up Baptist, you're taught, when you move to a new neighborhood, you go to the closest Baptist church. But I was trying to recover, so I found Hillside, and so went there 25 years ago, and just this is so special to me in so many ways, and I'm glad you said it's okay, because I may tear up. The first time when I called Dr. Barbara and said, the committee really wants to honor you this year, would you be, number one, willing to accept it and everything? And we had this conversation. I started crying, so thank you for saying it's okay to cry. Appreciate that. But I want to take advantage of having you here, and it really is an honor, especially for me personally. But I wanted to follow up on some of the spirituality things. I'm going to skip to that. And I want to try to get your advice on just in preparing for this. I found a study from the National Council on Aging. And they were talking about the importance of spirituality in seniors. And really, part of the study was looking at baby boomers, and they actually said that having a rich spiritual life is important to them as they age. And you think about baby boomers are probably, many of them are in their 50s and 60s and I guess 70s. But I think they're moving into the aging process. So, but it just made me think about, what does that mean? And I thought a part of what you were describing has to do with being connected and really thinking, using your mind, the mind and the spirit part. And so, what you're thinking about yourself and create, you're creating that. And I just wondered if you could say a little more about that from a spirituality point of view.
Well, what we are finding is that most of us are religious but not spiritual. We're religious according to our denomination. And beyond that, that's where we kind of stand. Spirituality means that you're willing to acknowledge that you're more than just a human being. That there is that part of you which is so special. And you can call it by many names. I used to, when I would decide something didn't work, I didn't work, I say, something told me. And that's been our spirituality, something told you. We believe that something that told you is that presence that's within you, that hunch. That you ever had just a knowing about something, you couldn't explain it, but you just knew what you knew? We believe that comes from that spiritual place. You see, when you see yourself as being a threefold being, that's the difference. Most of us say, I'm only human. The man upstairs like me. We make all of these statements, but we don't really know what we're saying. If you put the man upstairs, you got to go upstairs to get him. If you bring him downstairs to where you are, it makes a difference. Now, remember I said we follow Jesus the Christ's teaching. We say the Christ, we mean that God said. So you're not only a spirit person. We say you're a spiritual being living in a spiritual universe governed by spiritual laws. So within you, if you go back to Genesis, if you want to do Genesis, man was first made in the image and likeness of God. Now, nobody will see it. We don't know. They say, well, we don't know really who that. People already believe it. But let's use it. That image is not a physical image. It's not a man. It's not a female. It's that which the breath of life that's in you. Now, if that's your spiritual image, that's what you go for direction. My grandmother prayed about everything. She prayed about the rent. She prayed about food. One time we couldn't pay the rent, and she said, now God, and she never looked up, she said, now God, I know you to bring me because I knew for me that little girl was starved. I really need to pay my rent this week. And invariably, 3 or 4 people would call her. She was a dressmaker, she works from home, and she'd get us on it. That's when your faith comes in. So everything that you see me do, I've done it in faith, believe that I could do it. So first of all, your spirit. Secondly, your human, that's your mind and your emotions. And then third is your body. All three have to be balanced out. And that's the word we're going to balance out. So we believe that prayer is not only on your knees and standing up and walking, but prayer is also affirming for yourself that you believe. See, faith says, if I had not believed I was going to get healed, remember I said I wanted to go back home? That was my faith. I kept that. I never let it go. When you have faith in something, it's gonna come. Because that's the way, that's that energy field. So when you speak a word, all these words are going to an energy field. They may not stay in me going out on West Basis Ferry Road, is all I know. Because the scripture, words go into this. So spirituality is recognizing that you're more than human, but you're also divine. Now, some of you may disagree with that, but he's asking me about what I know about spirituality. And that's what spirituality means to me. I'm more than a human being. I've been glad since I'm earth angel, but I know within me, and I've come to believe that from experiences I had. When I was in the tuberculosis sanitarium, I said a prayer of faith. It said, God is my help in every need. God does my every hunger feed. God walks beside me, guides my way through every moment of the day. I now am wise, I now am true, patient, kind, and loving too. All things I am can do and be through Christ the truth that is in me. God is my help. Listen, this is what I didn't want to say, because I'm educated. I'm a college student. God is my help. I can't be sick. Who's going to say that? I'm in here, they tell me I'm not going to get out. But I know I'm going to get out. But God is my help. I can't be sick. God is my strength. I'm failing quick. God is my all. I know no fear. Just God and love and truth are here. I stayed on that prayer. And it finally took me one day, you're going to get out of here. Because you keep impressing your mind. You have a conscious and a subconscious level. That's your thinking and your feeling. When you keep impressing your subconscious, your feeling, what you want, it's got to manifest. Now, I think all leading age on this group can, because somebody had an idea, and they believe it would work, and you still didn't work. It's your faith to know. You didn't know have to do anything. If you did, you would have called it. And I believe that whatever we put our faith to is already in place. It's our faith that brings it forward. I believe that if you start a business, if you started this, these people were not here when you started, but everybody's here who's going to be a part of the business. Because you, in that industry, you're going to draw people, and it's a good thing. So you are not only human, but you're also divine. You've got a special place in your heart that you can always retreat to. And when I get worried and upset and feel like ordering somebody out, I just stop and go to that place and get still and acknowledge, I don't have to do this. And when you get still and make that acknowledgement, your whole count, your emotions shift. You know, see, fear is man-made. God didn't make fear. Fear is man-made. We create fear through our emotions. And so when you create fear, I live alone in a very large home. I do have an alarm system. When I go to bed at night, I put the alarm system on, I put my brother to bed, and I go to bed. I never get into bed thinking something's going to happen. See, if you start thinking those thoughts, what you feel will come upon you. So I go on the bed and say, how can you live by yourself? Well, who was I to live with? No, I don't need nobody now. I'm enjoying my own house.
That's good.
I don't get on about like God. But that's true. How do you live? Do you get in your car thinking somebody's going to attack you? It's your fear that you have to work with all the time. And your faith says, I am divinely protected. You have to believe that. I used to be unprotected. You ever had somebody sideswipe you and they didn't meet you anyway? I believe it's all that God presence. I don't know if I answered your question, but I'll look to
No,
you.
that's good. I enjoyed it. One of the things that comes to my mind is in our field of aging services, we know that we have more and more elders, people growing older every day. All of us are, right? So, but in our field, there's a lot of change that we're experiencing. You know, there's less money to work with sometimes. There's more regulators and laws coming our way. There's a lot more older people to serve. It's harder to find people in the workforce. So there's healthcare reform. So we have all these changes. And one of the things that we spend a lot of time talking about and thinking about is just how do we, do you have any words of wisdom for us as we really try to get people to engage the idea of change and embrace it and not be afraid? When you were saying fear, I was thinking that's what a lot of times in our field, I feel like we're afraid of change instead of just embracing it, saying this is what it's going to be and this is how we make it work. Are there any other tidbits besides not being afraid?
I don't think there's a perfect answer, but I do believe that we need to prepare people for change. Not have them read in the newspaper or hear from some outside force. If you know you're going to have change, start the preparation so people know change is coming. You can't change that. Change is big. Many times we think it's an evil thing. It's not an evil thing because when I was dealing with students at Spelman, I was an ordained minister. And when they hired me as the dean, nobody asked me about my ministry. And I didn't hide it. I didn't have a church. I had some people who were coming to a class in my home on Wednesday nights. When the president found out that I had this ministry, he called me in his office. He said, I'm not going to renew your contract. Now I was a single parent with a grandmother already approaching 80 and a young son. And he said, you didn't, I said, yeah, just some of the rest. He said, no, I didn't see it. He said, I don't want you proselytizing my students. I said, but I haven't done that. This is my own little thing going on the side. So before I could get back to my office, a memo went out saying, and I said to him, I said, well, I'd like to take some vacation time that I have coming. Let me just work with this. Because when a person doesn't do your contract, you're out. You talk about a change. That is a change. And so I went home, and every day he would call. He said, Dean, you coming back? I said, I don't know. So I had this group going, and one of the ladies came over to help me out. She said, he called, and I did this on the phone. I said, what do you think I should do? She said, and what do you tell us about faith? She said, like faith. And I said, I will not come back. I didn't know where I was going. I had no job. I got a grandmother, a son, and me to feed. Okay. So I made the step in faith, believing. We had plenty of food for a while. The food ran out. And one day my grandmother liked to have coffee and a sweet roll for breakfast. We had no more sweet roll, coffee. My child had a new big gym doll to play with, and I'm sitting at the table. And I read my grandma's prayer. I said, God, you bring me here for us to stop. That's all I said. The doorbell rang. And a former patient from some 30 or 40 years ago at the second who was at the door, he said, Barbara, I just read about you and come to you, girl. What are you doing? I had a conversation. He said, I said, well, I'm doing fine. I just released my job. He said, oh, okay. And we talked on about our time in the sanctuary together. How we all freedom with the men and their warrior. We had something going all the time. And so that's Monday he came, and he brought me $500. He said, no, bro, $250. He said, we earned $500 yesterday. Our preachers, we small church outside of Atlanta. My wife and I decided to give you that. Now, we call that a miracle, but that's the result of your faith to believe that some doors are going to open for you. Now, we had just invested in buying the church we were now, but it was a smaller church. I went to preach that Sunday, and a gentleman came and he said, Barbara, what you gonna do? You don't have no job or nothing? I said, you know what I said to the Lord? We'll make a way. Monday morning he called me. I became director of the United College Development, the colleges all around the state of Georgia. Now, I say this because I said, well, that's miraculous. It's your trust, your faith to believe that in you is that attracting power, which when you trust yourself, keep the faith, it will draw to you because of what you do.
Great. You know, one of the reasons for doing this is that we really want to highlight about 160 organizations that are members of Leading Age serve over 126,000 older Georgians every year. 126,000 folks. So it's so important to really start putting out there about positive aging, living purposeful, meaningful life, and having a purpose. And one of the things I thought about when Robbie put this together, and I was looking that these things that are all about you are in like the last 5 years and 10 years. It's not like it was 40 years ago that you did something. I mean, you were doing things then. But what impressed me today is that a lot of these things that you're into, that you're creating, that you're a part of, are in motion now. And so being almost 86 and being engaged now, it makes me want to ask you, what are you learning about yourself? Is there something even now while you're in motion with all these things?
That's all I am. I'm my own diva.
What about your...
You know who you are.
What about your style or your focus? Is there something that's coming out? Well, speaking of style, you told me that you were getting ready to launch a new business. Tell us about that.
Let me go back one
Okay.
minute. Prepare people for change when you can. Don't just say, the government's doing this, you don't have no money, and you have to look for a job. It's the way you approach it and the way you prepare people for it. So that they understand, and, you know, I may have to start looking, I've got to stand on my face to believe that that's something I'm going to that. Now, as far as who I am, excuse me, I came from a tall family. My maternal grandmother was 7 feet, I'm 6'5". My mother was 5'11", my dad was 6'5". Now, they were dressing people. My grandmother sewed, so I was the best dressed girl in the school. I came up when you had the hats and the gloves to match. Some of y'all might get, some of y'all don't know about this, but there was a time that's when little girls dressed with little mittens with your fingers out. I'm bringing some pictures back to somebody. So I'm used to clothes. One thing I felt, I cried out my height a lot when I was younger because I was taught so much from bullied by the kids. But when I learned again through the teaching to love myself and that I was important to God because I was placed here to be the person that would touch somebody's life. We all are here to do something that would touch somebody's life. That's when I began more and more developing into appreciating myself. I had a tall girl store in the Gallery Mall for 4 years. I closed it down. I had my cancer experience because I had nobody at that time. Nobody could go to running. I am now getting ready, as of next week, to launch a tall girls line in leather clothes. Now, why am I saying this? You're never too old to reach your goals. God gives us dreams, and we sit on them and wonder why we don't have any money. Every dream that comes from that, and so everything that's good comes from within. Am I right? So if God gives you a dream and you don't follow through because you don't get any money in the bank, I haven't put up any money except to join the consortium of us that are going to do it. Remember, folks, it's not about age, it's about your attitude. You're wanting to be somebody. You're wanting to do something for others. My life is just always doing something for others. I give all the time. But the point is, I like my own style. The clothes you see me wearing are designer clothes. I have to, because I can't walk in shop and buy. Some of you can walk in and buy from often. If I went to another city and had a party and they said, well, you need a black dress, I couldn't go to buy a black dress. But a size 4 could, size 10 could. So my clothes are designer clothes because I have my own style. This coat has a train. My designer does these outfits, everything I have. You see me, don't see me walking with a train. He said, you're tall, you can carry a train. So I'm just who I am, and I like being who I am. I like dressing up. I like looking pretty. I like having people say, Bobby, you look gorgeous. Yes, I do. I like myself. If you don't like yourself, you don't care. I wear blue jeans, I wear shorts, I wear bathing suits, I have no wrinkles. You have to take care of yourself. And it's all a state of mind. If you think you're old, you're going to be old. If you think that you're at an age where you can still live, you're going to
That's great. That's great.
Stop thinking over it.
What do you think, do you anticipate that there's something that's going to become more and more important to you as you go through the aging process? Is there something that comes to mind that might be more important?
I guess what's more important to me is just living to the best of my ability as I am going through this aging process. And it gets a little scary sometimes. Don't fool yourself. But you have to come back and realize I'm here by divine appointment. If I had completed my work, I would keep getting assignments. So I keep getting assignments. That means I have more work to do. And I don't worry about how long. I don't worry about how it's going to happen. I take one day at a time. That's so important, one day at a time. And plan, if you can, for future things like I did with this shop. I'm going to Memphis, and I'm going to have a book signed. I'm still writing. But if you could write, if you would, but you never tried it. You've got beautiful ideas. You know there's more ideas in the graveyard. Because nobody follows through. When you don't follow through, somebody misses out on something. No, you can get it.
That's great. You're making this hard for me. I know. As a spiritual leader, I really want to kind of capture these moments, but is there anything that you want us to know? And we're out there, we're serving older people in our state. Is there anything from that perspective that we haven't already mentioned that you want to kind of leave with us to think of as we, the individuals, professionals working in the field of aging? Is there, if you had something a single message that you wanted to give, is there something that comes to mind?
Well, one thing I want to say, you're a caregiver, take care of yourself. Caregivers do not take care of themselves. You have got to take care of yourself if you're going to survive. Don't overwork yourself where, you just have to be where you have to do this. But caregivers don't know how to take care of themselves. People wonder how I do it. But I take time to rest. I take time to reflect. Take care of yourself. And then continue being, as you are, compassionate with people. I don't even use the word senior citizens. I don't go to senior citizens groups because when I went, they were all complaining about the arthritis. I can't do that. When you complain and they see it, and really say, oh, Arthur's got me, and they deal with that, when you don't stop having no Arthur controlling your knees. Bless your knees. I'm not against anybody with disease, but don't make it so that it takes you down. Keep your mind alert, no matter what you do. But to the staff, be compassionate with people. Realize that as they go through the aging process, things shift in them. And you have to be able to recognize it and give it the best that you can give it, because they're just being who they are. That's so important. And then I guess finally, with an organization like this, and you all are wonderful. I'm still a little just overwhelmed with being here with you, but this organization means a lot to a lot of people. You serve a lot of people. And you must love them so that they can also love you back. Many people go into a job to get the love that they desire. Many people serve so that they can know that serving is not in vain. So whatever you do, love what you do. Don't get a job just to make money. Love what you do. If you love what you do, the people around you will be healed. They'll be grateful to you. But a lot of people go on jobs as a last resort, especially when it comes to what we call seniors. But I invite you today to stay in the job because you really care about people, and you care about people in our age range. My people are so beautiful to me. They love me. One of the girls said, she's about the snazziest 85-year-old I've ever seen. And I said, thank you. So when I was at 12, they called me the swinging demon. But it's because of my like expression. So everybody's not going to be outgoing. Some people are very more internally blessed. But